Hi, I'm Di from Choose Confidence, and in this short PowerPoint, I'm going to explain to you how and why we have stress and anxiety and what we can do about it. I'll just share that. So you can actually take control of your emotional life. You can choose to be stressed and anxious or calm and relaxed. The choice is yours. So what is stress? The stress is the body's reaction to perception, and the body always follows the mind. We have a thought or a trigger and we express it in our bodies. It's actually a skilled or conditioned response, and it's the cause of most health problems. It can be chronic and low grade, or it can be a good stress. But we need to be in rest and relax so our bodies can heal. So stress produces hormones, cortisol and adrenaline. And according to Kerwin-Rae, cortisol makes us fat, old and stupid. Blood goes to extremities so that we can run away or fight. We're not digesting food. There's no blood going to the brain, so you can't think clearly, and you're not able to rest and repair. But in nature, animals actually shake, and you may have seen animals getting chased. The chase is over, they just shake it off and go off and graze. But as humans, we don't. And if this isn't released, over time it builds up in the system. It causes these issues with our mind and our body. So you can get adrenal fatigue, a fat tummy, digestive, heart, musculoskeletal issues, anxiety, etc., etc. Research shows that the fast EFT can actually reduce stress by 24% or more, and most other therapies only reduce it by about 14%. So the subconscious mind doesn't actually know the difference between real or imagined. So a real threat is usually short-lived, like running from a mugger or a tiger or a snake, or chasing a mugger if he's pinched your handbag even. Something imagined though, like watching a scary movie, we still can get quite anxious and you feel your heart pump, but you're not going to go running around the block to wear off that cortisol and adrenaline. So it builds up again in the system over time. So low-grade continual stress isn't life-threatening, but it could be something like you wake up to an alarm, you've got kids fighting, you're in traffic, meetings, work pressure, other people's expectations of us. Even being continually cold, dieting or overtraining or putting time limits on yourself can cause this low-grade stress. But people react differently to the same situation. And somebody might be driving home from work and they're anxious, they want to get home, they want to be able to relax, but there's people going slow in front of them and they get very uptight about it and angry. Somebody else might get in the car, think, wow, I've got 20 minutes, I can put on the music and relax and I'll be so calm when I get home. Same situation, different perception. And perception begins at birth. It's how we see the world and how we perform within it. And it's the mind's way of giving everything a meaning. So our perceptions then create our beliefs, and a belief is something that is thought of, it's an idea that is felt as real. So we feel it in our body. We have a thought or an idea in our heads and we feel it as real in our body. And it has proofs that are consciously known and unconsciously known. It has emotions, feelings and sensations. And the proofs are actually the experiences and memories that we've had from the past that support the problem. Most of these are unconscious processes. So if a current situation reminds us of a past experience, we act by going into a similar state as when we were during the original event. So sometimes we act irrationally, and that's because, or in a way we don't want to act. And that's because the subconscious is always trying to keep us safe in some way. It's just data in and data out, really. It organises it and then brings it out when it's needed. So all feelings and thoughts start in the subconscious. Things like anxiety, phobias, obsessive thoughts and urges, and unwanted behaviours all come from there. They come up when we're triggered. So we've got a program to operate from to keep us safe in our subconscious that formed often in childhood. So that's why a 60-year-old can have a 2-year-old tantrum, because that's the only way they knew how to get what they wanted. But they're not 2 anymore. And as adults, they know it's not a good behaviour. But because they're operating from that program that they set up when they were 2, that's, unless you change it, you're continually using it when you need to. So the strongest driving force in the universe is actually pain, or what we don't want. And it has the strongest emotional intensity. And it gets stronger every time we talk about it, think about it, tell somebody about it, recall it, remember it, replay it, rehearse it. So you keep producing more and more proofs and references that it's actually true. Because it's the power of what you don't want that you focus on. And what you continue to focus on is what you continue to get. So it all starts with a primary imprint. And that's the original or the main memory that's held in your subconscious from that time that the experience you had was either a shock or something that really had an impact on you, and it was there to keep, made it a way for you to keep yourself safe so you don't get hurt again. So that's the way you act when you are triggered that way again. They're changeable and they can be positive or negative. So if as a child someone said something to you that made you feel not as important, or it hurt you in some way, next time you go to act in the same way again, you suddenly think, oh no, I got hurt. I don't want to be hurt again, so I'm not going to get close to that person. I'm not going to do the same thing again. So right from birth, we start with experiences, because before we were born, the stage was already set. Our parents had their way of coping, and whether it was a good way or a bad way, it was the only way that baby knew how to act in the world, because that's the way they learned how to. And that was perfect for them because it's all they knew. So from those experiences, we create memories, and they actually then give us a perception. And from those, we end up with beliefs. So it's what you believe to be true. So from your memories and experiences, if you had someone telling you that you weren't good enough, and when you went to school, the teacher said you'd never amount to anything, you can't learn, and then you go to get a job, and they've been telling you all along that you'd never get a job because you weren't good enough. And then there's proofs and references to say that that's right, because no, you didn't get a job and you weren't good enough at school because you'd been told that you weren't going to be. And then all these references are there to support it all the time. So from that, you create an identity. So it's how we were labelled. So it could be, you know, he's the naughty boy, or she's the shy one, or that one's the clown of the class. And it's because we keep doing those sort of things that that identity sticks. And then we have thoughts because we think about it, we reinforce it, people tell us, and that creates these strong neural pathways. Then we have feelings because the body follows the mind. It reacts to the mind's perception of something. So you feel it in your body. And that then if it's something that you don't want, the actions are to avoid. So we self-medicate, we smoke, we drink, eat, do drugs, shop, TV, games, gamble. We can do anything. We're all avoidaholics, so we don't have to face those fears or those all those feelings that we don't want to feel. And from that we get results. And that's what happens to us. It's what we get, what we don't want, because that's what we're focusing on, even though we're trying to avoid it. So we actually create our own reality, and you're the only one who can change that. So we need to spend more time out of our comfort zone feeling good. Practice the feeling good. And if you don't have any happy memories or know how to feel good, make it up. Watch a good movie, make out you're in it, make it up. And spend more time doing that. And that's the be, do, have. Be it now. Do it as though it's already happened, and then you will have it. So feel as though it's already happened. Act as though you already have it, and then you will have it, the happiness, etc. So when we get there, we're already in this comfort zone, because often we get out of our comfort zone, even though it's not ideal, and when we're feeling good or something good's happening, we often think, oh, this isn't familiar, and you jump back into that, what we call dirty water, what you're familiar with. So we have to make the familiar unfamiliar and the unfamiliar familiar. So all changes take place by good, bad collapse, and that's how we use fast EFT to change things. So, but the desire to change has to be greater than the desire to change the same. We can make memories worse or better by dumping on them whatever's happening now. If it's worse than the original memory, we can actually, and we're triggered, we can go back and make that first memory even worse. But we can do it the other way too, and that's what we do with bad good collapse. Because if you fire off a bad feeling and fire off a good emotion at the same time, it collapses the bad one. But the good one has to be stronger than the bad one. So your Taptics and Faster EFT can be used in the heat of the moment. So if you're actually feeling angry or stressed or whatever, you can actually reduce your cortisol levels right there on the spot. So even if you're watching that scary movie, you can do some tapping. And the tapping actually scrambles the message between the mind and the body, so that you don't get that emotional charge coming through, feeling it in your body. It can be used anywhere, anytime. It's quick and easy to learn and use. Children can use it. And we're actually setting up a children's program to take into schools. And you can do it covertly as well. People don't have to know you're doing it. So what we do is aim at the problem, the feeling, the memory, whatever it is, how you know. And that's unique to the individual, how you know you've got this problem. Then you take the focus off and notice your fingers as you tap on the meridian points. You hold your wrist and you think of something that makes you feel really good or happy, and really get a good sense of that. And then go back, check what's left, and then you just repeat until you're feeling good. So the tapping spot's actually between the eyes, and we say, let it go. You can do the side of the eye. It's okay to let it go. Under the eye, it's safe to let it go. And on the collarbone, just let it go. Then you hold your wrist, recall that happy memory, take a deep breath in, let it out, and say peace. Now this is an anchor. So You can go into a little bit more detail. So how do you know you have this issue? What do you see, hear, feel, taste and smell? Just go to that and really notice it. Make it as strong as you can. You can rate it between 0 and 10. And then you take your focus off. Use the tapping points and notice as you feel your fingers tapping on your face. You say, let it go, let it go, let it go, let it go. Hold your wrist and just really go to that happy memory. Think about it, feel it, see it, hear it. Take a deep breath in, let it out, say peace. Now you go back, notice what's left, what's changed. Rate it again, notice that it's starting to reduce down. You keep repeating that process until everyone in the memory is happy, feeling good, and the perception has changed. Thank you.